Hi guys, so we've been learning how to measure using units of 10 and units of 1. Now we're going to work on comparing those measurements of 10s and 1s using place value, which is just looking at units of 10 and units of 1 together. So we're going to compare different models that look a lot like bar models because they are bar models that are using 10s and 1s and work to compare those numbers. So let's get started. I can compare models with 10s and 1s. All right, it's time to do concept board. Get your math notebook out and flip it to the next clean page. Remember, we don't want to skip pages, so Mrs. Me would use this page. It is her next clean page. Do your big plus sign. Find the middle. Draw your line down. Find the middle. Draw your line across. So you have 4 boxes on your paper. In box number 1, there are 6 boys in a line. Some more boys join the line. There are now 13 boys in the line. How many boys join the line? You got to figure out how many more join the line. Think about it. How many boys did it tell us we had all together in the line? Next, draw 7 trapezoids on your paper. 7 trapezoids. This is a picture of a trapezoid. Remember, it has those 2 parallel lines and 2 diagonal lines. So, make sure that you really look at what a trapezoid looks like. Number 3, make a bar model to 5. You're making a bar model. It needs to go to the number 5. And last, use your 10-unit ruler. Your 10-unit ruler is this ruler with the red and the yellow squares. To measure a spoon. Go find a spoon in your kitchen and measure it. Now, go ahead and pause the video so you can complete your concept board. All right, so number 1, I knew that there were 6 boys originally standing in the line. So I have my 6 boys there, and I colored those ones in so that I knew those were the start. And I also knew that 6 was what I started with. Now, when I completed this problem, I knew that at the end, I had to have 13 boys in my line. So I added on units of 1 until I got to 13 boys total in my line. Then I knew that anything above my 6 to my 13 was my boys that joined the line. So let's count how many that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 boys. So I labeled those 7 for my 7 that joined. When I wrote my number sentence, I had my 6 boys originally standing in the line. I knew I needed to add some boys to the line so that I could have 13 total. So it is 6 plus 7 more is 13. Good job. Next, my trapezoids. They're not all facing the same way, but they do all have those parallel lines that are never going to intersect. They have 4 sides and 4 vertices. So I have my 6 trapezoids. Then I have my bar model to 5. Uh-oh, Mrs. Me forgot a step. She made her 5 units of 1. She labeled her units, labeled the bottom of her bar model, but she did not say how much the total was. She just drew her line, so she has 5 total. And when I measured my spoon using my 10-unit ruler, it was 6 units long. So when I made sure that there were no gaps and no overlaps, and I was starting at the beginning of my ruler at 0, there were 6 units. Good job, guys. All right, we are going to be comparing these 2 bar models to 10. So we have our first one, which is showing the number 23 in units of 10 and units of 1. And then we have the number 18 here on the bottom. This one is also in units of 10 and units of 1. What is the same about these bar models? They're both using units of 10 and they're both using units of 1. Very nice. And those units are the same size. If I just look at this unit of 10, it's the same size as this unit of 10. If I just look at this unit of 1, it is the same size as this unit of 1. So we are able to compare these 2 models, which is awesome. What's different about these bar models? You're right, the first bar model has 2 units of 10, and the bottom one only has 1 unit of 10. Very nice catch. Also, the bottom bar model has more units of 1 than the top bar model. Very nice, guys. Those are some good things to catch. So, we are going to be looking at these bar models and trying to compare them. We're going to use what we know about units of 10 and units of 1 to find out how much greater, that means bigger or more, 23, the number bar model 23, is than 18. This is called the difference. Can you say that? Difference. The difference between 23 and 18. So this right here with our question mark is showing us where our difference would be, because there's none here, but if we look at the bar model above, there is something there on the top one. So we got to figure out how much is missing on this one to know how much greater or bigger 23 is than 18. All right, one of our friends is trying to help us, and they told us this sentence to try to help us figure out what to do. They said 23 is 5 more units of 1 than 18. I know this because you have to add 5 units of 1 to 18 to make it the same as 23. So we're going to test that out and see if they're right. So we are going to add units of 1, the same size units of 1, because we have to have the same size in order to compare. We're going to add units of 1 onto our model of 18 to see if 5 units of 1 will make it the same as 23. Let's watch. Will you count those with me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5 units of 1. Now, do these bar models now end at the same spot? Yes, they do. We needed 5 more units of 1 to make this bar model of 18 the same length as our bar model of 23. So I would write 5 down here to show my difference, so that I would remember that that was the difference between them and I wouldn't forget and have to keep counting. Good job, guys. All right, guys, what I need you to do is you need to find a piece of paper. It could be the back of one of your worksheets. It could be in your math notebook. It could be any piece of paper you have lying around the house. And you are going to solve 2 of these. You get to pick which ones you want to do, but you have to solve 2 of them. If you do this in your math notebook, you need to turn your notebook on its side so that you have lots of room. And make sure that you are drawing those bars of 10 and those bars of 1 as the same size. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to compare your bar models. You can always use your unit of 10, your blue unit of 10, and your pink unit of 1 to help you make your bar models more precise. You have to be very careful and precise. Otherwise, we cannot compare them. So remember, you have a unit of 10, it's blue, and a unit of 1 that you can trace as well to help you with your iterating. So you can choose 2 of the following. You can pick whichever ones you want, but you have to do how many? 2. So you need to draw the models. You'll have to draw both because you have to compare them. You're going to use units of 10 and units of 1. You have to use both. You cannot just use units of 1. You have to use units of 10 and units of 1. Then you have to describe the difference. You can talk to mom or dad. You can record yourself in Seesaw talking to your teacher. They would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. So make sure that you are talking about this with either your teacher or with somebody in your house. So you can choose 2 of these. I'm going to read all these options to you, but you need to pick 2. So if I were you and you heard one you really wanted to do, I would write it on the top of your paper really fast. You can do 21 and 13. You can compare those numbers. You can compare these next two numbers, which is 27 and 11. You could do those two. Remember, you got to pick two of these. You could do 30 and 14. You could compare those two numbers. That could be one of the ones you pick. You could compare 32 and 17. That could be one you pick. Or you could do 43 and 24. So remember, you need to pick two of the pairs. And if you need to, rewind the video to go back and read those again. But you need to pick two of them. So maybe you pick A and C. Or maybe you pick B and E. But you have to pick two of the sets of numbers. So when you're done, make sure you get a picture of that into Seesaw along with your concept board. And then we will see you again soon. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming and working on the place value with the units of 10 and units of 1.